politically, what are you learning from helping be part of the governing body in a sense?
Oh, well, I'm learning how difficult that is. Well, as far as what came along, I mean, we tented up the land, we started making our roads, Mellon came by with hay. It's been about 5 or 6 days, there hasn't been a second helping of hay, which is fine, we haven't asked for it, but we note that. The garbage, we're getting better about policing the garbage and taking it out. I mean, if this is a frank interview, I mean, there has been, people are aware there is a small rat problem. Generally, it was located among those bushes and I think a little bit here. We tightened up the garbage situation. There have been some calls during the day to start pre-moving it out onto the cement, and some workers continue to help us a lot with the garbage. Now, as far as what might be happening, if you look across the street, there is more green space. Right now, sometimes we use that space to hold our meetings because there's a lot of light there, and you know, it just seems in a lot of space, so it just seems like a nice place to hold a big meeting. Also, a lot of grass over there, and we're getting about to capacity here. So one of the things on the agenda pretty soon is going to be the occupation, the seizure of the land on the other side of the street. It's been contemplated for a while. I don't think anyone thinks it's a bad idea, and it's just a matter of, you know, timing it right so that we're doing it because we need it, and we're doing it because, you know, we're all doing it in sync so we can make it work.
Is that a Mellon property also?
Yeah, that's the same story. And we noticed they lined, you know, from the first day, they had lined that the same way they lined this. I think they were probably rather surprised we did not take that on day one. However, they may be surprised when we take it in a day or two.
Do you have a contact person in Mellon that you can express your desires and needs?
I am not aware of one. Personally, I've been sort of operating under the opinion that especially when we're having meetings right underneath the building, I mean, I kind of just figure this place has to be bugged. You know, there's got to be, if not literal bugs in the trees, then people with those little sound things that they can point and pick up from a distance. So if they're not doing it from around, maybe they're doing it from straight down a building, I don't know. It's kind of conspiracy theory, but I kind of wonder, like I told you they brought the hay. It came about 2 hours after someone said into a bullhorn, we're having a problem with the ground. On Monday, this is going to be a mess.
Maybe they're just intuitive.
He was a very wise man. He said in the bullhorn, I don't know what we're going to be doing about this, but we should think about it. It's going to be a problem for everybody.
Well, say, maybe you should say we're running out of money, and maybe they'll come down with a couple million.
That's a great idea.
Maybe they'll build a building that you can stay in, an occupied building.
If this is going to be seen by anybody who...
I'm not putting the event down. I'm simply saying that maybe they're getting it.
Maybe they're getting it?
Yep.
Oh, you mean like they're getting the message of the... I would have to imagine a large number of the people who work in that building are getting it. And you know, I'd even have to imagine that the senior, the wise heads are getting it on some level. Whether or not they're getting it in a way that they are going to start making change proactively. You know, they're responsible to shareholders. I hope they're at the point where they're going to start puzzling out how to reconnoiter their relationship with America the nation and keep their shareholders, you know, happy.
Well, in a sense...
That's not going to be possible, really.
Well, in a sense, Mellon started as a small bank in Pittsburgh and has grown. And perhaps there's still people who are employed by the company who remember the old days when they served their neighbors. So you might find that the bank is more supportive than one would think. And when you think about it, everyone with whom I've talked is not really angry at the banks per se. It's the banks and the people with the stock market who manipulated, who...
Yeah, I mean, there's a... We were just talking about the military-industrial complex, or my word is the military-industrial political complex. I mean, there's obviously also a financial-industrial political complex. And at a certain point, these demands are going to have to tip toward the government. I mean, we're highlighting some of the processes that take place in the financial sectors, etc., the business sectors, but to an extent, I think it's worthwhile and it's convenient. I mean, it's the government that has a responsibility to address our grievances. So maybe it's shining a light on the business end, and then, you know, hopefully the political end will see that light shine.
One of the things I always ask people when I see them here is, are you an occupier? And you said what?
I'm a supporter.
Okay.
Well, I've never camped in my life, so I'm not.
Are you camping now? You're actually part of the campers?
No. I'm a supporter. That's why I said I would think about camping, but I've never done it before, and I'm not about to start now.
Did you participate in the '60s movements?
I was too young.
Oh, were you?
I watched them, you know, but I was too young to.
You sympathized?
Yes.
Good. Well, you're here now, so it's never too late.
Yeah. I guess this is kind of, you know, it's. I've been wondering when the young people would get, you know, inspired enough to do something, you know, to get up off their butts and react to what's going on.
So you think it's going to continue for a while?
I hope so.
Good.
I hope so. I think, you know, anytime people can speak out, you know, speak truth to power is a good thing.
Pleasure.
And what is your name, sir?
My name's Austin Zahar. I'm from Denver, Colorado.
And you're here to join in on the festivities?
Yeah, this is a great community effort. I mean, we're all just kind of getting along and hoping for some positive changes.
And I just want to say hi to my world, and Occupy Pittsburgh is a beautiful thing, and I suggest for people to come down, check it out, and see what it's really about. Thank you. Have a good day.
What are you learning most, sir, about people and a campaign like this, commitment to a belief system?
What I'm learning more about is people, different people that come in here. It's different things, like issues that we have with some other people that come in here that just here just to start trouble and not. And also, there's people here that are also here for different things. Like they love, like people here, they're so loving, they're caring. Like they're here to make the world in Pittsburgh a better place.
More quickly than someone else, you can have a more unfavorable score.
Yes, obviously.
So, but then, you know, if then they're making decisions off of that, especially on employment, I don't know what they think they're getting out of it.
Yeah, I don't understand. Like, okay, whatever. It just pisses me off. Like,
no, it should.
I just like I'm not a number. I'm a human. Like, and what should an employer be looking at my individual credit score anyway? It's not like you're not giving me a loan. You're giving me a job.
I gotta say, I don't know.
Does my credit score show, oh, I'm late on work, I'm not a good worker, I don't know how to do this, I don't know how to do that. My credit score doesn't say any of that.
So
You know, I've been noticing more and more hearing stories and reports about that practice happening, and it almost seems weird to me that at this point, because it seems like a weird practice, it almost seems like that sort of action should be added to like the equal opportunity side of employment. Like, you can't deny someone a job based on gender, race, all those things. Do we actually need to add, I don't want to say classist, but you know, I don't know what other word to use for it,
or your credit rate, or the lack or growth of your credit rating.
Right, you know, it's a class of people that they've created that I never would have thought needed protection for, you know, consideration of employment, but you know, apparently it does. You know, people will be sexist, they'll be racist. You know, you really can't prove it.
Yeah.
But that's a class of people that's like invented.
Yeah.
That they created. That
Like, oh, we're not going to hire you because you have a bad credit score, but you could be the best worker ever.
It just is like it's called, I'm forgetting the word, but it's just like the double standard.
Yeah.
So why do we need that double standard for something that we can't even help?
It just makes me. And then they're like, so when are you gonna be able to make this payment and stuff like that? And I'm like, you do know that I have other stuff that I have to pay for, right? You and they're like, well, what's wrong?
Justice needs to be served. We need answers, and these people need to be put behind bars. If I were to steal millions of dollars, I'd be locked up for the rest of my life. But if I work on Wall Street and I steal millions of dollars, I get a few $100,000 in fines.
And I have a quote from Kunin. Political freedom without economic freedom is a farce. That's true.
And who's quote that?
Kunin. He was friends with Marx, kind of, back in the day. Anarchist.
How long have you been here, sir?
I've been here since last Saturday.
Wow. You're part of the community then?
Yes.
Could you repeat some of the things that you just told that gentleman? Start from the beginning. And I only have an hour.
What are the top three?
The top three issues that I think need to be addressed are ending the Federal Reserve. It's brought much more damage than it's done any good. Put the power of money making back in the hands of the people. Finding alternative fuel sources and changing the infrastructure of the country to those fuel sources. We're polluting the world at a ridiculous level, and we're destroying a lot of the environment, and bringing about economic justice to the people against some of these massive mega conglomerate corporations that are ripping everybody off and barely getting fined by the SEC.
And do you feel a little uneasy about how an individual would be penalized if found to be absconding with money compared to the corporations who take millions or billions?
I am very uneasy with the way it is at the moment. The way things work right now, if, for example, a corporation were to steal $100 million from somebody, the SEC might fine them $20–30 million. $20 to $30 million is nothing when they're not even addressing the money that was taken in the first place. Those monies that are being stolen aren't being repaid by every one of these corporations, and so justice isn't being served. And then the fact that a lot of these SEC employees are getting hired on by Wall Street firms, and a lot of the Wall Street firms are having employees switch over and get jobs with the SEC. It's ridiculous. The corruption is outrageous, and there needs to be answers.
Do you think that you speak for many others, or at least have the same ideas as many of the other people who are occupying?
There's no one single voice when it comes to the details within the Occupy movement. The united voice is that corruption in general needs to come to an end, and that we need to stop being greedy and start looking out for one another. And that being said, I think that the majority of those in the Occupy Together movement internationally are probably in vast agreement with the things that I've just said, yes. But I can't speak directly for them.